streaming. Let's see if I used the right fucking key code, stream key. Yes, we did. What's going on, team? What's going on, team? Welcome to tonight's isolation session for May the 5th. Cinco de Mayo. May the 5th be with you. Oh no, that's May the 4th. I think I got the wrong day. My bad. We good? Test it. Oh no, that's May the 4th. Yeah, we good. Hope everyone had a good trading day. Hope everyone had a good weekend. For those who weren't in the live trading session this morning, again, no trades were taken this morning. Wasn't really a lot on the charts, right? Gold moved, did exactly what it had to do again in the higher time frames. Um, this is just this lower low and lower high that we were seeing on the 30-minute was just again the higher time frame, higher low that was being created. Right, again, price making higher high, going into a higher low. The higher low is just a pullback, right? A trend going back down to the bottom to give us that push to make a higher high. But that was pretty much it. Every pair that we look at, every single pair that we had on our list, every single pair that's on our watch list pretty much hit STP or ADR before the NYC session, before I even wake up. So by the time I got on the charts, which was 6:30, 7 o'clock, all the trades, all the pairs already hit STP or ADR aside from US30 and USDCAD, I think, were the only two pairs that really didn't hit STP yet. So outside of those two pairs, everything moved early. Weren't really looking at anything. Didn't have an opportunity to trade anything during the NYC session, but that's okay. That's usually the case. These fucking headsets are mad uncomfortable, bro. I gotta find new headsets to use. That's it. I'm gonna give everybody a couple minutes. We'll give everybody till 7:03 to join, and then we'll get started, guys. Gonna be a good one. We'll talk about the daily time frame again, our daily highs, daily lows. Look for any continuations. Talk about the market makers pattern, where we're trading. You know, the current trend, whether we're trending or we're counter trending. We'll do the same thing on the 4-hour and the 30-minute time frame on every single pair that we have on our watch list, which is the ones with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with US oil. We'll be going in order from the top to the bottom. But again, if there's any pair that you guys want me to look at, whether or not they're on our list, let me know. If they're not on our list, then we'll add it, and then we'll do that at the end of the stream. If it's on our list and we haven't gone to it yet, we'll go to it. Just be patient. Again, gonna give everybody another minute. 7:03. Everybody a minute and 15 seconds to join. Ask any questions, anything in the chat, anything you guys want to talk about, any specific pairs you guys want me to look at, let me know. Ken, do you hear in the Discord? Want to make sure you're good. No questions, Ken.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, but 30 seconds. We'll get started. Again, any questions, let me know. Also, for the people watching the recording, if you guys have any questions, you could always hit me up, DM me on X, Instagram, or Discord if you guys have me there. If not, again, I'll put the link for the Discord in the chat so you guys can have it. I'll also post it in the Discord in the description as well. Invite the server, copy link, post in the chat. Alright, let's get started. So, no questions in the chat, it's all good. So, AU, we know we are in level 3 in a downtrend. Right now, price gave us a lower low, and we're looking for that lower high to be set. Right now, price is still giving us higher highs and higher lows. No continuations on the daily time frame, 4-hour time frame. Price giving us higher high, higher low, higher high. Finally gave us a set higher high as well. Beautiful higher high, right? And at the higher high, price gave us an engulfing candle. However, this is not a valid engulfing candle because the second green candle did not close above the first, and that second green candle does not have a bottom wick either. So right now, nothing telling us that we're at least going to get a pullback just yet. Let's look at the other time frames. Nothing on the 1 hour. And then on the 30-minute again, we're still making higher high, higher low. And then price gave us higher high. So we're trading pretty much boom. Again, higher high, higher low, higher high all the way to the top, right? All of these candles were testing up until we had this high over here. So we're trading between this higher high. I'm going to use this green candle here just so we can have a pretty good zone. And we're trading between that high and this low. This is a pretty small zone, but that's okay. I don't judge, man. Is that word I'm looking for? I'm not gonna shame AU for having a small zone. You know. 2 days of counter rise as well. So right now, price is still giving us higher highs, higher lows, still giving us 2 days of rise. Gonna wait this one out again. AU, as soon as we start giving that downtrend push, once we start seeing lower lows and lower highs, that's when I'll get into that trade again. But once again, for right now, price is still giving us higher highs, higher lows. We still don't have a set lower high point in the higher time frame. Very similar to gold, right? Gold gave us a set higher low and then just continued that trend into the higher high in the daily time frame. So that's pretty much what we're looking for here on AU, just opposite, right? Instead of looking for a higher low, we're looking for a lower high, right? To go short into the lower low. So AU, just got to be patient with it, man. Once we get those opportunities to trade, we'll see them and we'll take them. So go on to the next one, EA. Right now, I don't really have anything for EA. We still have that gap at the bottom of the market. We are in level 3 in an uptrend. We were in V2. We got the break. We got the break of structure. We got the retest. We got the continuation. We have 3 months of rise. So again, this month, I'm not really expecting price to continue that push to the top side. On the 4-hour time frame, we're still trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Price has been giving us that downtrend push. But again, that's okay. This is just price giving us a higher low. And again, what are we looking for? We're looking for that higher low to be set. We have 2 weeks where price has been giving us those drop momentums. We got the 3rd week low already as soon as the market opened this week. So again, at this point, could we look for a trade? Yes, we know that at this point we could look for a trade. We could look for price to go from a lower low to go into a lower high. We've caught that trade multiple times in multiple pairs. I believe GU or GCAD was one of the last pairs that we caught a trade, just a little pullback trade. That's okay. It's not the best trade. It's not what I want to catch every single time I'm on the charts. But if the opportunity presents itself, we'll definitely take it. There's no no doubt about that. So once again, at this point though with EA, the fact that we have 3 months of rise, I'm not expecting price to continue that push to the top side. I'm not expecting price to give us another monthly high this month. The fact that we have 2 weeks of drop, again, that already just tells me, okay, we'll most likely just continue these downtrend pushes on EA. So right now, just going to be, like I said, patient with it. Not going to rush into any of these trades. Just going to wait them out. Again, what's the point of these isolation sessions? Is to update your charts and look at the best looking pair. What is the best opportunity you're going to get tomorrow when you look at your charts? Right? So looking at your charts now, updating them now and allowing yourself to come up with reasonings, right, and see the reasonings on the charts as to why you're looking for a trade and why not. As soon as you get back on the charts into tomorrow's trading session, you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking for, or you know exactly what not to look for. So ECAD, we're in level 2 rise in the market makers pattern. We're trading at a higher high. We got the break of structure. We're looking for the retest, right? Price is still giving us higher highs and higher lows, which is good. We still haven't gotten any set higher highs just yet. We still don't have a valid break. So for us to say this is where price is going to give us higher high, higher low would be incorrect. If price would have given me a clean break of structure of these highs and then given us a pullback, we would have had a different conversation, right? We would have been like, all right, yeah, we're definitely going to be looking for price to give us a higher low into a higher high. But very similar to EA, we have this gap at the bottom of the market. We have this 4-hour engulfing candle that, again, I still don't think is going to be a strong engulfing candle. We did have a nice break of the 4-hour higher high, but again, in the daily time frame is really where I wanted to see that, not really on the 4. And the fact that we have 2 weeks of drop, we have a little internal shoulder head shoulder, which we could see price broke below. We just have so many confirmations here letting us know that price is not ready to push to the top side. We have the change of character, we have the break of structure, we have a zone of consolidation on the 30-minute time frame, really telling us that this is where price has been rejecting highs and rejecting lows. So once again, it's very simple to just stay away from trades that you already know look bad. And again, why does this look bad? Once again, I don't trade counter. I don't trade against the overall market makers pattern trend. If we're in an uptrend, I'm only looking for buys. If we're in a downtrend, I'm only looking for sells. right? So again, at this moment, I understand that ECAD is at a higher high on the daily time frame. What are we looking for? We're looking for a higher low. As soon as we get that higher low, as soon as we get continuations back to the top side, that's when I'll start looking to take trades again, right? So as of right now, just gonna take a step back on ECAD. I'm not really gonna be rushing into any of those trades once again. Very similar to EA, very similar to AU as well, right? So daily time frame on EU, once again, very similar to the other pairs. We still have this gap at the bottom of the market, right? We were in V1. V1 in an uptrend again is the first zone of consolidation. We're looking for price to give us a break of structure of the zone of consolidation, which we did get, but very similar to the other pairs as well. We have 3 months of rise, so I'm not expecting price to give me another push to the top side after 3 months of the push, right? We know we're still looking for a higher low. We're looking for a pullback, so we're going to be looking for price to give us that pullback to then continue that push to the top side. Now, could we expect price to come down, fill the gap that's down here on the 30-minute time frame, and then go up? In my opinion, at this point, I feel like this gap is way too steep to for price to come and fill it. I think it's way too steep. I don't think we're gonna get that push. Now, we'll get something simple, possibly. If you use fibs, you'll get like a 50% retracement. If you use EMAs the correct way, right? Level 2, we're looking for price to bounce off the 200 EMA. So again, if we add our fib to that, everything would just make sense, right? This will be a 50% retracement, 50% through 61.8, right? Everything would make sense. So everything is lining up to tell me that, hey, we're most likely going to get that 50% retracement. And that's what we could be looking for. So right now for EU, just looking at this, just think about that. Everything that we just talked about, all the confirmations we just talked about, is just on the daily time frame. We haven't even looked at the 4-hour. We haven't looked at the 30-minute. We're simply just looking at this, an overview of the chart, right? You're looking at the blueprint on the daily time frame and being able to see, well, okay, this is what we could look for. This is what we could be expecting, and this is going to be our target, right? Our point of interest. Once price reaches here is when we'll start looking to take those trades again. On the 4-hour, we're still looking good, right? So in the chat, let's see if you guys are active. I'll give you guys a minute to answer this question. But right now on the 4-hour, what could you guys see? Let me clean this up a little bit for you guys. Let's turn the session breaks off on the 4-hour. Right? Understanding that we're looking for price to give us a pullback. Right? There's two things that could happen. Either price could say fuck everything else and just continue the overall trend, which is higher highs and higher lows, as we can see here. Or price could go short. So right now, on the 4-hour time frame, let's see if you guys know the answer. If you guys don't know the answer, it's all good. Right? What's good, Albert? Welcome to the stream, my brother. What do you guys see here on EU, which makes this a very simple trade once we get to that? Let's see if you guys could answer that in the chart. What could you see right now on EU that's going to help us understand whether or not price is going to continue the uptrend push, or if price is going to start the downtrend push, the pullback that we're looking for price to go from higher high to higher low? What do you guys see? Alright, we got one person in the chat. Albert, you want to take a guess at this? I know, I to Albert, we haven't really got into this yet, but retest of the lows, okay. One more minute. Let's see if we have anybody else in the chat that wants to be active. Got 5 people in here and only 2 answers. Boom, 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 boom. Or continuation of previous bigger structure. Okay. So the correct answer, what Kendall said, right? A shoulder has shoulder. But you're also not wrong, Albert, which is the retest of the lows. right? Would be more of an inducement of the lows, right? So this shoulder head shoulder is going to really show us whether or not price wants to break these lows to continue that downtrend push into the point of interest that we're looking for our pullback in the higher time frame. Once again, for price to make higher high going into a higher low. But it's also like what you said, right? This shoulder head shoulder, if price gives us an inducement of the lows and then starts giving us higher highs and higher lows, then we know that we're just trapped in this little zone of consolidation. And we're going to be looking to take these trades going back up to the top. And then again, we'll be looking to take these trades again once price breaks these highs to continue, right? Because again, overall, and this is another question, but I'm not gonna force you guys to say it in the chat so we can move on, right? But again, what do we know about the market? The market moves in two phases. What are those two phases that the market moves in? You have the trend, and then you have a zone of consolidation. What does this mean? Well, okay, we know that the market moves in two phases, a trend and a zone of consolidation. So what are we looking for? Well, understanding the fact that at a higher high, right, price doesn't always have to give you a higher low, right? At a higher high, price doesn't always have to give you a higher low. At a higher high, price could just do a little zone of consolidation. Instead of giving you a pullback, instead of giving you the trend, it's going to give you a range, right? A consolidation zone. So it's very important to understand that right now, how price is reacting, this is going to tell us what type of movement the price wants to do. Whether it wants to just give us a zone of consolidation for a few days, how it's been giving it to us since Thursday of last week, or price is going to break these lows and give us a higher low. So right now we just got to be patient. We have 2 weeks of drop. Price is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. We're still at the bottom of the zone of the shoulder head shoulder, which is just again a little zone of consolidation. We have no continuations on the 30-minute time frame. Oh, I'm lying. We do have 2 days of rise, but we also didn't get we didn't make a new high, right, from Friday's high. So technically this isn't even a valid 2 days of rise. And we also have a gap in the market at the top where price fell today. So this gap is going to be very important. Again, this is where we're going to either see price reject the lows to come back up and just give us this push back up here, which at this point we could see that price is pretty much in this little zone of consolidation as well. So this is going to be a very interesting pair to just keep an eye on for sure, especially once price starts giving us that uptrend push. And even if price doesn't give us an uptrend push now, 30-minute gap, right? Why is this important? Well, if price breaks the lows and then gives us a pullback, then we know that once price starts uptrending, we could target these highs as our one of our take profits. So very important to keep an eye on that gap on the 30-minute time frame on EU. Any questions, guys? Continuations of previous break. Yep, exactly. Any questions so far about that? Let me know.
Not really a question, just like so we know we have the shoulder head shoulder, but if price gives us like an inducement
Hmm.
or just gives us an internal chain of construction, then we know that we could take that 372
Oh,
and
well, you're
target the
saying for
gap.
today?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, again, this 372. It really wouldn't be.
too
I
high
wouldn't.
probability.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it. I wouldn't consider it a 372 just because we never made a new high. Um,
Right.
but yeah, we could just treat this the same way we've treated every other pair, right? Like let's say we wake up, right? Let's see the
Yeah. The only thing
possibilities.
I don't like.
So the number one thing is we already know based on the EMAs. What do we know? A type 1 pattern isn't gonna happen, right? Because what do
Right.
we want to see on a type 1 pattern?
Uh, type one pattern you want to see is on a consolidation. Then after that, inducement to the downside, basically to give the real move.
And then
But
where
in this sense, huh?
what EMA do we want to see price bounce off on to get a valid type 1
The
pattern
200 EMA on a
on the
15
15?
minute time frame
So we already know that this type 1 pattern here, it's not going to be
wouldn't be
valid.
valid.
It wouldn't be valid because we're trading below the
Yeah.
200 EMA. So we could already scratch that off our list of probabilities of what type of trade we're going to see tomorrow. Now,
Right.
could we see a type 2 pattern? Could we see a type
Yeah,
3
that's what I
pattern
would want to see.
where price just consolidates, right? At this point, if we look at the EMAs and everything as well, right? I also want to keep an eye on the 800 EMA, right? We did have a
Mm-hmm.
valid break of the 800, technically speaking, over here on Thursday,
Right.
right? But price just keeps testing these highs, just keeps testing these highs. But let's say, cool, we know we're testing these highs and we're testing these lows on the 15-minute time frame. If on the 15-minute, 50 crosses above the 200, we get a break, we get a retest, boom, type 2 pattern. Or we get a type 3 pattern where we just get a little bit of a steeper pullback to then
Mm-hmm.
continue. So if we were to look for a trade, this is what I want to look for today. I
Right.
really wouldn't rely. Maybe, if we go into the 5-minute time frame, let's see that real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we go down to the 5-minute, we have low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, change of character, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, change of character, lower, low. We're pretty much still trading between this low and this high. So even if we were looking for a 5-minute internal, we wouldn't really get that before we get that gap closure. Unless price gives us, nah, not even, because if price breaks these lows, then this would be the high. So, unless we get some drastic change where we got a little change of character, a little inducement, break of structure, and then we start getting, an inducement break, and then we start trading from these highs, and we get a change of character break, and then we could take these trades back up to here, then maybe, yeah. But even if we were to make a trade like this, right, we're looking at a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 trade, right? Maybe 30 pip TP, depending on where it gives us the change, where it gives us the break. So
Right.
it wouldn't be
Yeah. So would you even go down to the 1 minute
uh
on this chart?
you can, but again, structure shows, right? Because in the 1 minute, like if we could go down into the 1 minute, right? And then in the 1 minute, let's just do this in the 1 minute real quick, right? You have low, lower, high, lower, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, and then you have a change of character, lower, low, and then you have a change of character, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, lower, higher, low, lower high, higher, low, boom, higher, high, higher, low, lower, high, change of character, lower, low. Then you have change of character, higher, high. Then you have change of character, lower, low. Right? All of this is part of the same. Nah, see, it would be the same thing. Because in order for this, again, what do you want to see? You want to see a clean break. Did you get a clean break of this candle? No.
Mm-mm.
You got a testing candle here, right? So this wouldn't be like what you were saying earlier about gold, right? Would you consider this on EU here? Would you consider this lower low, lower high, lower low? Not really, right? You wouldn't consider that a lower high. You never had a valid break. All of this is part of the same trend,
Same move. Yeah.
right? So you have lower low, lower high, boom, lower low. Well, not technically this lower high, but you have all of this. Again, you had the break, you have this high, you have this low, and then boom, you have lower low. So even if you were in the 1 minute time frame, even counting these smaller inside moves, you wouldn't have you'd be trading the same parameters as the 5 minute. You're still trading between this low, which you can see never broke, and then you're trading between this high. So the 1 minute and the
Right.
5 minute right now are the same structure
Oh,
wise.
but
So now I would just focus at this point. I would just focus on the 15 minute, focus on the 30,
mm,
and that's pretty much it. Just wait for price action to show up on the 15 or 30-minute time frame.
right.
That's the only thing we could do
Damn.
at this point now.
Yeah. So it's looking like another dead week. Really. I mean, like we have pairs with third week highs or third week lows, but it's just like the probability of those third week highs or third week lows getting hit
Because they're
based
counter
off the
too.
structure is kind of like even GJ is moving with the trend, but it's just like how GJ has been moving on like the higher time frame is kind of ugly.
Hmm.
So I mean, just would need a lot of confirmation when looking to take that. Gold is moving counter from the overall trend, so it's not really too ideal that we'll get that third week low and shit. Everything else kind of giving a steep pullback, really. So
Yeah, man, my fucking head hurts with these headsets, yo.
Yeah, I'm in the bed right now, but I'm on my laptop.
Mm. Alright, so let's keep going. Let's see GA. GA, we are in level 3 in an uptrend. Made a higher high. Right, so GA out of right now, out of the 4 fucking pairs that we already did, GA right now looks like the best one. Why? Well, it's one of the only pairs that doesn't have a gap in the market. It's one of the only pairs that is trading with the trend, right? Still making higher high, higher low, higher high, going down to look for that higher low. We also, yes, we have 3 months of rise, but on the 3rd month gave us a rise no net. So could we expect price to give us another push to the top side? It could happen. However, again, what I was saying in yesterday's weekly market breakdown, the steep on this pull on the pull, how whoa, how steep this pullback is already giving me that indication that we most likely won't get price to give us a new monthly high this month. However, could we could we expect price to just follow the trend and give us a higher low into a higher high? Absolutely, absolutely. So let's just keep looking. So now in the 4 hour again, in the 4 hour we're trading higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And what do I like about GA as well? This is also another case where price right now seems like it wants to give you a shoulder, head, shoulder. So what does this tell me? Well, let's say we don't get an opportunity to trade this week and price continues to make lower lows and lower highs. That's all good. Why? Because as soon as we get down to these lows, price gives us an inducement of the lows and then starts giving us higher highs and higher lows, then we know we could take these trades back to the top side. Right? So for GA, this is one pair where I will keep on my list. I will definitely make sure I'm looking at this one, keeping this on the watch list. But again, right now we understand that we are still just in a pullback, and we're looking for price to. I just spit all over my monitor, and we're looking for price to give us a set pullback, higher low in the higher time frames, to then continue to trade. Yo, I did that snake. What's that shit called? When like you open your mouth and the fucking saliva just comes spewing out like you're a snake. And then right now in the 30 minute, we know we had higher high, higher low, higher high, gave us a change of character, lower low. We're still trading between that change of character, lower low. We have a day of no net. Price just moved sideways today. The lower low that we're trading is over here. Fast red candle before the push to the top side. Entire zone. So GA again, just gotta be a little patient, just a little patient. I'm gonna wait this one out just a little bit. See what price wants to do, and then we'll take it from there. Could we use this on the lower time frame as well? Most definitely. Right, this is one case where we could get away with saying that this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low, and then we're looking for a break. We have the crossing of the 50 and 200. So once we get that BOS, point of interest is going to be the 800 EMA. That's going to be the first point of interest. Once price gives us a break of the 800 EMA, then we'll take that trade again to continue that push to the top side. Looking at STP as well, right? Let's say STP stays at, well, it's 172. 172 minus 33% is what? Fucking like 113-ish? 115-ish? So we'll hit STP as soon as price gets on the 800 EMA on the 5 minutes. So following the trend again, lower low going into a lower high. This is another trade like what we were talking about earlier. This is most likely going to be a trade where it's going to be just a pullback. We're just looking for a pullback. Price going from lower low into a lower high. So again, just going to be patient with GA, man. You got to be patient. Wait it out, see what happens. We'll go from there. GCAD gave us lower low, lower high, lower low. It's a pretty big zone here, but that's okay. We use this low and that. We'll just use these lows here. We have a day of rise. Price still giving us lower lows and lower highs. GCAD is another pair that does not have a gap at the bottom, which is good. We have no continuations on this one. We are in level 3 in an uptrend, looking for price to reach previous peak high territory, which we have not reached just yet. So GCAD is also another pair that looks really good. Price is still trending between higher highs and higher lows. 4-hour time frame, price again still giving us higher highs and higher lows the entire time. Right, higher high, higher low, higher high, give us a little higher low. Trended to the top side but didn't complete it, did not go into a higher high. No continuations just yet. And then on the 30-minute, once again, still making lower lows and lower highs. And we're in a little zone of consolidation on the 30-minute, where price is rejecting highs, rejecting lows, going back up to the top. So once we get this break, that's when we'll start trading once again for GCAD. And man, still can't fucking believe we took a L on this shit last week. Actually, that shit got me fucking tight. So GCAD, we'll wait on it, man. They're gonna pay me back. Plus interest too. Not just pay me back what I lost. They're gonna pay me my fucking interest. GJ, we're still in peak high territory, still in an uptrend, still making higher highs and higher lows, no continuations. Price is just moving sideways on the daily. On the 4-hour, price did give us 2 weeks of rise. Could we look for price to give us a 3rd week push? It could happen. It's still something that I'm wanting to see happen. And again, it's one of those situations where, yo, I'm sorry, hold on, bro. These headsets are making my head hurt. I don't know why this shit hurts so much today. I gotta put these shits weird. Hold on, I gotta put these in a weird spot in my head so this shit don't hurt. Put them tighter. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Alright, so GJ's in a situation where 30-minute we're still making higher highs and higher lows. We still have 2 days of drop. Again, could we look for price to give us a higher low to go into a higher high? It's possible. It's definitely something that could happen. But I need to see something on any time frame telling me that price is gonna go up. Like, everything is just showing downtrend signals on GJ. Everything. Higher time frame is looking like lower lows and lower highs. 4-hour time frame, right? We know we're stuck in this little zone of consolidation, but again, we can still see where price is giving us lower lows and lower highs. There's really nothing else. Like, we don't have any engulfing candles. There's nothing really here letting us know, or at least giving us an indication. Like, hey, this is where price is gonna give you a pullback. Look for price to go long here. Even the internal time frame, right? If we use the internal time frame, you know, we had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Like, we're still making lower lows and lower highs the entire time. So for us to even sit here and be like, you know, we'll get this pullback, we'll get price to do this, it'll be delusional of us to really believe that, because we don't have nothing. Like, even if we're looking for engulfing candles, we don't have a valid engulfing. Would have been a great zone to use for an engulfing candle, but that second red candle did not close below the first red candle's wick, so it's just not a valid engulfing candle. It's not valid. So we really don't have a point of interest, right? When we're looking at the candlesticks and price action, there's nothing. Now when we're looking at EMAs, yeah, on the 30 we have the 800 EMA, price respects 800, cool. That's the only thing we have right now. Could we go in a little bit deeper and start looking at, you know, the last red candle before the break of structure? You know, of course, we could add all of that into confluence. But at the end of the day, I'm looking also at price action, and it's just nothing here is really telling me what I want to see. So GJ, again, gonna keep a very close eye on it. Would love to see price give me that 3rd week high. That would be the most ideal trade to take. But again, in order for us to even take a trade, we need to start seeing our setups. And if we don't see our setups, then there's nothing to take. So just gotta be patient with it. GU's breakdown is pretty much very similar to EU. How price is moving, what is doing. The only difference is we don't have a 3rd day. You know, what would look like a 372 on GU, we don't have that here. So price still giving us higher highs and higher lows. Again, very similar to the other pairs. Another pair where it's giving us a little shoulder head shoulder. So Just got to be patient to see where it wants to give us the inducement, how it wants to give us the inducement, what time frame wants to give us the inducement. Um, Again, very similar to what GA and GCAD, where at the higher high, again, price is going to give you two things, either a trend or a zone of consolidation. And right now we're just consolidating, we're moving sideways. And we have 3 months of rise. So again, this is not, I'm really not expecting price to continue to push to the top side. It's very easy. It's very similar. Like there's a certain amount a pair can move, right? There's certain rules that the market makers have to follow. And again, we can't say that this is higher high and price giving us a higher low because we never had a higher high. We don't have a set higher high yet. We don't have a valid break of structure. Price is just testing highs. So could we expect price to give us a way steeper pullback? 100%. Like we know we have a daily engulfing that price never tapped into. Could price give us a retest of this daily engulfing, give us a higher low before it gives us a higher high? 100%. So again, it's just about being patient, right? At the end of the day, I could do these breakdowns and I could say what I'm anticipating, and at the end of the day, it's whatever the market makers decide to do, and we just have to adapt to that. If price decides to give us some confirmations that price is going to go up from now to the NYC session tomorrow morning, then perfect, we'll take that trade. But right now, looking at price action, how price is moving, how it's setting up, it's not really telling me price wants to go up. We just created an exhaustion candle, right? Two exhaustion candles back to back in the daily time frame. So again, I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm anticipating for this to happen. Like at this point, I'm not anticipating for nothing. I'm waiting to see what price wants to do. There's nothing for me here. For the last 3 days, there's been nothing. Price is just moving sideways. What are we gonna trade, right? It's the same thing with a lot of people today taking trades on EU going short um during the London session, right? During the end of Asia going into London, it's like, yo, what are you guys trading, right? Like if you were to take a long and then you were in profit and then price hit your stop because you didn't take profit, like alright, a little bit more understandable, understanding that a lot of people online don't know how to read price action. They think that this is where price turned around and started giving you higher highs and higher lows. So then you took a trade thinking that price is going to give you a higher high. Like I would understand that reasoning 100%. Now, you sitting here and telling me you want to take a fucking trade going short, I don't know. I can't reason with you. I just really can't. Right? Unless you're looking at the chart like lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and you thought that this is where price, was just gonna give you a little retest to continue. But like again, that would be incorrect too. So there's just so much going on where it's once again we could sit here and we could tell you just stay away from this. If you stay away from charts that look this ugly, you're not gonna lose because you're not gonna take the trade. You're gonna wait for price to set up. You're gonna wait for price to do what it has to do before you take a trade. Right? And again, this is the whole difference between me and a lot of people online is we're gonna wait for the high probability setup to show. If we don't have a high probability setup, why are you gonna take it? Why are you even gonna bother looking at that chart? Right? So let's skip US30. Again, I'm not gonna be looking at US30 gold, Bitcoin, or oil on stream, so we'll just do USDCAD and USDZAR now. So USDCAD is another one. Right now, we're still in peak high territory. Technically, I can't even say that we're in peak high territory. We're just still uptrending at this point, right? We reached the previous peak high, gave us a higher high, and price is giving us a higher low. On the lower time frame, this may look like a shoulder head shoulder. It may look like price gave us a change of character, a break of structure, lower low. We have multiple weeks where price was trending down, and now we're just moving sideways, right? So once again, we have inducements of the lows. The only thing that we just don't have right now is price trending to the top side. We're still making lower lows and lower highs. So once we start trending, once we start making higher highs and higher lows, once again, that's when I'll start taking these trades. And again, very similar to GU, EU, same with US30 at this point. I'm really not expecting price for US30 to just continue this trend to the top. Like I'm really not convinced, and it's not because price on the higher time frames are making lower lows and lower highs. It's just simply price action. Like I'm not a believer of this shit just skyrocketing from here. There's just in my head every analysis that I've done, the way I'm looking at the charts, there's just fucking zero way. Um, but we'll see, man. I don't know. We'll see. Like, there's again a lot of these pairs are telling me otherwise, right? Like, if USD CAD starts trending to the top side, if USD ZAR starts trending to the top side, which we could see is not doing that right now. And again, for a lot of these pairs, USD CAD and USD ZAR move very similar to each other. USD CAD and USD ZAR move opposite of US30. So the fact that USD CAD hasn't been moving the same as USD ZAR, and there'll be some mornings where USD CAD and US30 look similar to each other, is very, very weird, eerie, right? It's very eerie at this point. So I don't really have anything to say about those pairs right now. Right? Still give me lower low, lower high. I'm not gonna say this is lower low, lower high, lower low. No, all of this is part of the same trend. So just gonna wait it out, and we'll see what happens from here, man. There's again, a lot of these pairs is just more about being patient, just waiting it out. That's all we can do. Again, as traders, our job isn't to guess what's gonna happen. Our job is to anticipate a move. Once we anticipate a move, we have to wait for our confirmations. Right? If our confirmations don't set up, then there's no trades to take. Just because tonight I said this is gonna happen, and if it doesn't happen, what happens? Nothing. You gotta wake up, adapt to the charts, look at what's happening, and then go on from there. So, any questions in the chat, guys? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Anything you guys want me to talk about or explain? Let me know. If not, that's pretty much it for tonight, guys, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. We'll be doing that here on YouTube. And then again, remember, tomorrow's isolation session will be done on WAP for our members only. And then Wednesday's trading sessions and isolation session will be done on WAP as well. Thursday's live trading session will be done on WAP. And then Thursday's isolation session will be done on YouTube. And then Friday's trading session will be done on YouTube as well. So again, if you guys want to join the WAP, again, that is going to give you access to one-on-one sessions every week. You have access to one-on-one sessions every week. You could always request another one-on-one. It doesn't have to be just one a week. If you have other questions or anything, you could always hit me up. Or you guys could just join the Discord and then join us here on YouTube whenever we're streaming. Usually we do 3 streams here on YouTube. The isolation session, the weekly market breakdown, and then the 2 or 4 sessions, I guess you could say, a week on YouTube, and then the rest we do them on WAP. So if you guys want more info on that, just join the Discord. Again, Discord is free. The streams we do here on YouTube are free. So if this is all you guys want to do, then no pressure, no pressure.
Would you have taken those gold buys today or no?
Nah. Well, if I were to trade, nah, not really, bro. I'll be honest with you. Just pretty much like the shit that we talked about this morning, right? Which is like, did we have a clean, like if we go and we look at our rules, right? Did we have a clean indication? Did we have a clean setup today to take?
Not really, no.
So that's all it is. Like we could sit here and back test it, and let's go to the 5 minute, right? Like look at the 5 minute. Right? We know that on the higher time frame, once again, right? Higher time frame, we know we were trading higher high, higher low. Cool, right? We saw today that we had the 38.2 retracement. So once we know that we have the 38.2, then we go down to lower time frames. Right? Lower time frames, we have any engulfing candles, nothing on the 4, nothing on the 1, nothing on the 30. Alright, cool, no problem. Right? We have no continuations, cool, no problem. Then you go down to the 5 minute. Right, on the 5 minute, you had lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure, higher high, higher low. Right now, again, if you were trading Asia session, then you had again the change of character, the break, the retest. You had the cross of the 50 and the 200. You had the pullback. Right. What was the only thing? There was only one thing missing here, which is an engulfing candle. Now, let's say you got into the trade. Right? Because again, you had the change of character, you had the break, right? You had the pullback, retest. Let's say you got into the trade, peak high, you're looking for price to bounce off the 50. Let's say you got into the trade here. You waited for price to come back up, close, boom, here. You took the trade here, where would your stop loss have been? Right? If you're trading with a tight stop, let's say, let's say down here, your stop would have been hit. So you would have had to have been using. That's the first thing I'm looking at. Number, by the way, is where am I gonna put my stop loss? Never had any engulfing candles. We didn't have none of that. So I would have had to have said, well, the only logical place I could have my stop loss is gonna be here, right?
Right to lows, yeah.
That's 303 pips
Wait, what?
below these lows.
Hell no.
See what I'm saying? So all of this is taken into consideration before we take a trade. This is what we look at, right? Because before we take a trade, we want to know where our stop loss is going to be, right? So let's say we would have had this. That's crazy stop loss, right? TP would have been hit. Obviously, we would have went straight into profit, right? Cool. But again, on a realistic level, I'm not looking to take a trade with a 303 pip stop loss, bro. There's no fucking way, right? There's no way. So just off the bat, just seeing where the stop loss would have been, no, I wouldn't have taken this trade. So let's keep going. So the next thing we did was, dude, this fucking headset, man. Oh, fuck. So then we had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, boom, change of character, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then you had a low, change of character, break of structure, retest. You had another one, right? You had a engulfing candle. The engulfing candle is not valid because the first red candle doesn't have a top wick. But you had a little nice break of structure, a little retest right on it. The same thing, 50 cross above the 200. Now, what's different between this trade over here and
Have a bit more structure.
that's it? A little bit more structure. You had price break above the 800. This was just a pullback, right? So, would I have rather have taken the trade during the end of Asia going into London? Most likely.
Uh-huh.
Most likely that would have been the better trade to take,
That's the trade I was talking about, yeah.
right? So this trade here during Asia, definitely not, just based on the stop loss. Now, anything after that, this trade here, these trades here, this would make a lot more sense, right? Compared to the first ones at the end of yesterday going into today, or the end of the week going into the start of the week.
Because there was also a 5 minute flip zone as well inside of that consolidation or that like just choppiness. It was a 5 minute
This right
flip
here.
zone. The price was respected, yeah.
I mean, if you're, yeah, that's also a good trade too. You had the break of the 800 here again on the 5 minute, really gave you that confirmation with this candle, gave you the retest, consolidation, gave you an engulfing candle flip zone, gave you the break, the retest. You have your stop loss below the zone. That would have been a lot better trade.
All right.
A way better trade.
All right.
You have a fucking 24 pip stop on gold, TP at STP, which STP was somewhere here, or 1 to 21. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, this trade I would
Yeah.
have definitely taken it. Anything earlier, nah. Anything earlier, we would have been trapped out.
All right.
But again, if that
Okay.
shows up in NYC, 100% I'm taking it.
All right.
But
Cool.
again, trading the beginning of Asia, you already can see how, again, market makers are going to hit your stop loss.
All
And
right.
if they're not going to hit your stop loss, they're going to make sure that your entry is a piece of shit entry where you have to take a 300 pip stop to have a pretty,
Mhm.
a decent amount to get back. So,
All right. Okay. All right. But all right. Well, that's it then.
any other questions in chat, guys? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Who you calling, man? Let me see that. Never mind. Any other questions in the chat? Any other pairs you guys want me to go over? Anything you guys want me to talk about? Let me know. Nothing else in the chat. Once again, I'll give you guys another minute. 7:50, we'll be out of here. Alright, guys, have a good rest of your night. We'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Again, we'll do that here on YouTube. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Have a good rest of your night.
Peace.